This is the story of Shuan the Sheep, who was a curious little sheep. He lived in an average house in an average street in Newcastle, which he decided to explore. So he left his backyard for the very first time and started to wander down the street until he heard,
"No, Shuan, no! Don't cross the road!"
His saviour was Tyler, and he sat down with her so that she could tell him a few home truths.
"Shuan, I'm so glad I saved you. You should never cross the road without adult supervision."
He was a bit hungry, so he asked her about food options in Newcastle.
There's lots of cuisine, Shuan. There's like Chinese, Mexican, all different things like that. But my favourite is lamb kebabs. Don't tell Shuan.
He asked her what else he should be mindful of during his travels.
You always wear your clothes and don't go nudie-roody out in public.
He thanked her and started walking to town, hooty-dooty, and on his way he saw some beautiful green grass. He was just about to start grazing when he heard,
"No, Shuan, no!"
Stop, Shuan, stop.
Bill saved Shuan from eating the bowling green, and after a game he invited Shuan for a cup of tea. Shuan asked him what they like about Newcastle.
Well, I love it. You go 50 kilometres around, we've got everything. So what more do you want?
Well, I've always loved living in Newcastle. It was a lovely place to bring your family up. The foreshore, and that's lovely. They've done a lot of lovely things around and improved a lot of things. And people are always very friendly. Yes, they are. If you travel by public transport, you meet a lot of different people. I've always found to find someone interesting to talk to.
Refreshed, Shuan set out to the city centre, where he saw the redeveloped wharf and all its new restaurants. He saw 2 tugboats steering a bulk carrier to the ocean. He learned that Newcastle is the largest coal exporting harbour in the world. Shuan wanted to know what it felt like to be his toes in the ocean.
"No, Shuan, no!"
Shuan couldn't swim. Luckily, he was rescued from the surf and brought back to life. His saviour, Catherine, convinced him to rest for a moment while overlooking Bar Beach, and then went for some retail therapy. They went to the newly refurbished Charlestown Square, where he rode in a shopping trolley and an escalator and an elevator. He shopped for some shoes and then tried on some hats. He went back home to a barbecue, where he asked Frank about the history of Newcastle.
Newcastle itself officially was discovered in 1797, which is only about 9 years after the first fleet came here, and Lieutenant John Shorten was chasing some convicts. Got up as far as what we now know as Port Stephens and decided, well, he wasn't going to catch these convicts. He decided to come back and explore this little knob that Captain Cook said, and came into the river, which he named Hunter River after Governor Hunter. And he was walking around the bottom of the hill, which is now Fort Scratchley, and picked up this rock and discovered coal. That's where Newcastle started. The first coal mine actually in Australia is underneath Fort Scratchley.
Shuan knew that the grass wasn't always greener on the other side, so he wanted to know what people didn't like.
The council.
I hate Newcastle City Council.
Don't like the council.
Government.
The mall. Not very happy with the mall at all.
He then wanted to know what it is that makes Newcastle so special.
I like the culture that we have, the beach life, the nightlife. You seem to always go somewhere and know someone.
Very multicultural.
Newcastle's an easy place to get around, and it's got a really nice cafe vibe. There's a nice gallery scene in Newcastle. There's a good food scene, as in sourcing good produce.
Shuan then went for milkshakes, and when he finally lay down his woolly head, he knew he had found his forever home in a friendly place called Newcastle.